So this is the question that was done today at the Zika tutorial, long-term sources of funds. Okay, so we're looking at that document that was shared earlier on in the group. I'm sure you find it. So question 1 and 2, we said this was theoretical. Okay, this is theoretical. If anything, more of the advantages and disadvantages of using common stock. So the advice that I even gave the previous group was that please read through your notes, mostly for the advantages, and even Shroms, that book Shroms actually does highlight a lot of these things. Just read through it. That's for question 1 and 2. All the answers, most of them will be found in those books. So our focus started on 3, which talks about what? How many shares must a minority group of shareholders own in order to assure election of two directors if 9 new directors will be elected at the next AGM and 200,000 shares are outstanding? Assume cumulative voting rights. So we're being asked to do what? We want to find the number of shares that someone needs to participate, okay, in this election process that's happening in this company, okay? And what are they going to assume in terms of the formula or the model that they'll use as they calculate those shares? They say that assume cumulative voting rights exists in this company. So I want to share a screen of the formula that works when you're using cumulative voting rights system to find the number of shares, as the question has asked there in short. So let me share the screen. What you're seeing there is the formula for cumulative voting rights system. If they've asked you that they're using cumulative voting rights, that's the formula you need to find those number of shares that are required to take part in this election. So you've seen this DES. What does that stand for? The designated number of shares, or the shares that are available for this election process. Some questions might maybe even add that the outstanding shares were so much. Those are still the designated shares that will work or will be used in this election process, or should I just say are available. Okay, in our case, if you rewind the video and check the question, it said there are about 200,000 shares that are available there. So those are the ones that we will put as the designated, that abbreviated word. Open brackets N. That N in the brackets, what does that mean? That N is basically the number of directors that one particular investor wants to elect. Because we're trying to find how much this investor would want to know at the end of the day, how many shares will be required. So that N stands for what? The number of what directors that particular investor wants to elect. And they've stated something that they want to elect about 2 new directors, or they say they want to elect 2 directors from what? From a total of about 9 new that need to be, of course, elected in total. So that N, get it right. I would advise you even rewind and get this part again of how I've explained the N. Then, of course, plus 1 over, there's that hashtag sign, right? That simply means the number of what? New directors. Get this part right. The number of new directors in this election. The number of new directors. So they've stated them. The number of new directors that are participating, of course, or should I say that are needed in this election. The whole election process, they've stated them. There are about 9 new directors. So don't swap that in and this hashtag, right? Okay, that's basically the total number of those new directors, which is 9, and we'll be substituting very soon. So just begin to substitute everything now. So we said designated those shares that are available in this process, 200 shares. What did you say the N was? The number of directors that a particular person wants to elect. And they said they want to elect about 2. Okay, investor wants to elect about 2 from these total 9. Okay, about 2. So that's the N, 2. Over the hashtag is the total number of new directors available in this election, which is 9. There was a plus 1 here. Answer 40,000.1. But since these are shares, you do not take decimals. Okay, we just round off to the nearest whole number. Then that's it. Shares. We move. That's how we answer question 3. That's all. So on question 4, it says a company needs to raise 4 million kwacha to pay for equipment. It will raise the funds by offering 400,000 rights, each of which entitles the owner to buy 1 new share. The company currently has outstanding 2 million shares priced at 40 kwacha each. Question part 1. What will be the subscription price on the rights that the company plans to offer? How do you get subscription price? So there are some formulas that you need to know, and there's particular long-term sources of funds, and I'll be explaining them on how you'd get all these questions they're asking you for. So subscription price has just got a formula, by the way, where you would get it from. Let me just share the screen again. So what you're seeing there on the screen is the formula for what? Why you will get that answer, the question they're asking you, calculate the subscription price. So the formula in which we find subscription price is this formula seen on the screen. New shares, the number of new shares, if anything, is equal to funds needed to be raised over the subscription price. I've just abbreviated it's subscription price. So it's from this formula that you will get that subscription price, of course, and calculate for it. You just change the subject of the formula there. So do we have new shares in the question? Okay, let's get back that statement so that you can get how we'll get those new shares. And also the funds to be raised, we'll also have to pick them out from the question. So let's start with funds to be raised. Look at the question there. The company needs to raise what? 4 million. Automatically, they've given it away. The company needs the funds that are needed. It's 4 million. We have that part already for the formula. What next? We need the new shares. Well, they've said that of this offering, okay, this offering, they're saying that they want to offer about 400,000 rights in total. Then they said each of those rights, that's what they mean by statement, each of which will enable an owner to buy 1 new share. And you know our focus is the new shares at this point, if anything. So each of those rights offer you to buy what? 1 new share. So it's like it's a 1-to-1 proportion, right? So 1 right, 1 new share. I hope we're together on this one. So meaning it will be your total 400,000 rights. You put them in that proportion that you've made. 1 right is equal to 1 share. What about 400,000 rights? Will give you what? It's the same figure, right? 400,000 new shares. That's what we need in that formula. If anything, that one which they said new shares, it's basically the total of new shares that need to be issued. That's the one that we're looking for, if anything. And so far they told us, okay, 1 right is equal to 1 share. So okay, how do we get the total new shares that they're issuing? They've given us, okay, the total rights, which is 400,000 rights, and we just made the proportion 1-to-1. Then we said, okay, if 1 right is equal to 1 share, how about 400,000 rights? It will give us 400,000 shares. And you have your figures, and you can easily solve for subscription price. So first of all, you rewrite the model. We've changed the subject. Subscription price is now equal to what? After changing the subject, funds needed over new number of shares, okay? So we found the funds needed. It was 4 million. Number of new shares, we have just found them in total that they're about 400,000 according to that proportion we made. Therefore, subscription price is equal to what? 10 kwacha. That's the answer you put, 10k. That's all. That's the answer, subscription. Part 2 is asking what will be the share price after the rights issue. What will be the share price after the rights issue? Let me share the screen on the formula that you need as well to calculate that share price after a rights issue. So the formula that they're asking you, first of all, the price after the rights issue, right? It's basically the price after they've now, issued out these new shares, and like I said, they're actually asking you. Basically, the other way that they are trying to just tell you here is they are asking for the new market price because they've now issued, okay, that price initially which was there in the question that okay they were at 40 kwacha, and like that's just the old market price, the one that was there in the question. So now after a rights issue they get to recalculate the new price, that is the new market price that they'll now be using, if anything. So that's how you would get it, market value, okay, of this company over total shares. So now how do you get market value? That's the next question, right? So let me just erase the screen. I hope you've taken note of that formula. Okay, market value of this company is actually equal to this. You have to find, first of all, your old market price. I even stated it right now or earlier on in the video. The old price, it's there in the question. What's the old price? Old price is just the price on the outstanding shares. And it was there, 40 kwacha. The way the question stated that, okay, those shares, they are, they're about at 40. I think they stated that in the beginning. Then times what? Outstanding shares. Take note of that, please. outstanding. Just spell that out. So I'll just be abbreviating some of these terms due to the space there. Then this multiplied by that, right? Plus sub price subscription, you now know how to get it from earlier on, times what? New shares. The ones that were stated earlier on, the new shares, the way we got them. That's how you get market value of basically of the company or the firm. It's the odd price times outstanding plus subscription price times new. The two components, this component separately you compute, that other component you separately compute it, and then you add the answers. That's how you get market value. So this part was part of the formula, right, for new market price, right? You do this part first, then we said it's divided over what? Total shares. What's total shares? Total shares is the outstanding shares, which they would call odd shares, okay, plus new. Take note of that. Total shares is the outstanding plus new. Outstanding, the other name is odd. Just take note of all those words that would phrase these things. So what we're going to do is this. Let's first calculate the market value, because we know it's part of the formula for getting that new price, so the price after rates offering, right? So let's start substituting what we know. Odd price 40. Okay. The outstanding shares 2 million. The answer 80. I'm sure if you compute, you get this 80 million. Plus, we said plus subscription. How much is subscription price? 10. We got it. Number of new shares, did we find them? Yes, we found them as 400,000. Okay, if you remember, if you rewind this video, we got this figure as the new shares. Answer 4 million. The addition of the two, what does it give us? 84 million. 84. Now we said new price, that new price, okay, it's equal to market value, which we just found, over total shares. What's the total shares? We said outstanding plus new. What's the outstanding? 2 million. Okay, it's 2 million, the outstanding shares, about 2 million, plus new. How many new shares are there? 400,000. Just add these two and divide by the numerator. Answer 35 kwacha. That's all. That's how you get the new price. They have just phrased it in another way, that the price after rights offering. In short, they're just asking for the new market price, which is solved in this way. So the advantage is that this is a video, so you can rewind as many times as possible to get the concept. And like coming to meet, they are physically there and then. Okay, the next part of the question was asking for what? So part 3 is saying, what is the value of a right? Let me just share the screen of how we can get the value of a right. So value of a right has 3 ways actually. You can solve it. It's actually equal to the odd price, the one we talked about, which is like 40, right? Minus your X right. Some books say this, X right price. Now people would ask, what's X right? Because we haven't talked about it. So X right is just the new market price. These are just other names. Take note, this course there are so many terminologies meaning one thing, so get to know everything. X rights means new market price or rights off. Take note of all those terminologies. So that's one way you would get the value of a right, okay? So it's basically your odd price minus X rights. That's one formula. Then you can actually say odd. This is another alternative. Let me just separate them. Odd price minus what? Sub price, subscription. The subscription, subscription price over number of rights plus 1. These are all formulas you just need to know. It depends on which one you feel will be comfortable with, but they all give the same answer of value of a right. Odd price minus subscription over number of rights, which of course the question hasn't asked us for number of rights to calculate the number of rights that are needed, because the one that we calculate here for number of rights is basically, I'll explain on the next question because it has this scenario. That's why I'll explain it more, this number of rights you're seeing in the denominator. But otherwise, just know that these are the formulas, plus there's one more that I'm missing. This other one is X rights minus subscription price over number of rights. That's all. These are the formulas you need to know for value of right. But in our case, we'll go with the first one. It's looking more straightforward. Odd price minus X rights. Odd price minus X rights. That's how we get our value. So what's the odd price? 40. X rights? 35. What did I say X rights was? If you wind the video, it can mean new market price or rights off and whatnot. 5 kwacha. That's your value of the rate. So on part 4,